Hello, people. Another beautiful day. Yep. Hope your five senses work. Hope your health and strength is good. Right. And to you Steam Deck fans again, what's up with it? Steam Deck Tribe, Steam Deck Nation, Steam Deck Universe, Steam Deck World, Steam Deck Legion, what's good? Steam Deck Mob, yeah. What's up? Steam Deck Squad, what's up with it? Sitting here messing with y'all. Alright, what we got for y'all today? Okay, Chris, talk! I'm sitting here messing with y'all. Alright, what do we got for these people today? Steam Deck fans, that is. They don't take no excuses around here. They want news, so give it to them. Anyway, let me do this real quick. Alright, what do we got here? We got two articles here. Both of them from EA. The first one, I think I missed out on this one, but the second one is new. The first one is this. EA Anticheat spells trouble for Steam Deck / Linux, right? But the second one now that came out today is this. It says here, says here EA begins swapping out Origins for EA apps on Steam. Says here, the one that I missed, says here EA anti-cheat could spell trouble for Steam Deck / Linux. EA has just recently given out more information on their upcoming EA anti-cheat, EAAC, not to be confused with Easy Anti-Cheat, EAC, because EA are apparently terrible at naming. In their new deep dive, they went over various details about their new EAAC and how it will affect their games. The first big note is that it will be kernel mode, which usually is something that doesn't play nicely or at all with Linux. And so this could be some bad news for the Steam Deck too. Not only that, it's an anti-tamper tech too. Take FIFA 22 for example. It's playable on Linux as playable the Steam Deck rating. However, FIFA 23 will be launching in October, and guess what? It will have EA's new anti-cheat. So this might mean it won't work at all. It won't end up in every game from EA though. As they said in the post, they will work with each studio to determine their needs. It also mentions for some titles, they may also use users mode protection. No kernel level stuff, that's in parentheses, says are just not have any at all. So it says here, a worrying trend though, with more and more anti-cheat going kernel side, which is almost always developed just for Windows. It's problematic for another reason though, like the recent issues with Jensen Impact, where the anti-cheat driver was abused to disable antivirus. Okay, then here's the second article. It says here, EA begins swapping out Origins for EA app on Steam. It seems the time has come. EA has begun the process for swapping from Origins to EA app on Steam, which could cause a few issues for Linux and Steam Deck with Proton. Multiple titles on Steam got updated within the last day with no patch notes or announcement from EA that I can see. The only difference seems to be introducing the EA app. Check many existing installs of Sims 4 on Steam Deck and it seems fine. It's briefly showed a new EA app screen, then showed Origins and then went into the game. An existing Titanfall 2 install on Fedora Linux desktop, however, refused to initially launch. It gave me the EA screen with a Proton 7.0-4 and Proton 7.0-5 RC and Proton Experimental. It just wouldn't launch. Removing the compata data folder where all wine Proton prefixes data is stored and reloading it a bit further to some sort of blank EA app screen. After successfully installing it, that got stuck, killing all wine process and existing Steam. Then reloading Titanfall 2 after a few blank EA app screen appeared and vanished. It works again. Says here, with a fresh install of Titanfall 2 on Steam Deck with Proton 7, it had the issue again of a blank EA app screen that got stuck. Quitting and reloading, it once again showed the blank EA app screen, forcing Proton Experimental on it, and then it actually worked. Trying a new install of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order on Fedora Linux desktop with Proton 7, and a similar issue as above. Although it didn't need a compat data folder removal, EA app seems to install then. I just got greeted by a blank EA app window. Seems it actually signs in Windows, as I was able to highlight things on it by trying to drag things out of the windows anyway. Is this the case? Simply quitting and reloading just seems to fix it. Then he says here, so it's a bit of a nuisance and actually different between games, but it appears that EA app can still work with Proton, but it might need a little extra work. Then it says here, it says note below, can remove setting previously saves. Do act at your own risk. If you find you also need to remove the compat data folder for some EA games for Steam Deck, be in desktop mode, find the Steam app ID, right click a game properties update, or grab the ID from the URL of the Steam store page for it. Then inside your Steam app folder, you'll find compat data in a folder with the same ID, where it depends on what drive you have games installed on. The default is /steam-root-steam-apps/compat-data. Let me read it again. /steam-root/steam-apps/compat-data/ and then that's it. It says, let me know in the comments how things are going for you with various EA game on Linux, desktop, and Steam. Well, in one article, it was the anti-cheat, right? In the second article, EA swapped out origins for the app. So now it's causing some compatibility issues where you have to move a folder to another section, delete the game, reinstall the game to get it to work. Look, to me the easiest way to fix this problem is this. When it comes to dealing with games between Windows and Linux, since Windows and Linux are competitors, they need to go back to the old ways when developers were making games for Windows and Linux. They would have a Windows version, and then they would have a Linux version, and that will fix the problem. Fix the problem to try to get games that are Windows based to work on Linux. Even with Wine and Proton, there's still some issues. So the best way to fix the problem is this. Like when the Epic developer came out, and they were talking about Fortnite on the Steam Deck. The way you fix that problem is you make a Fortnite that's for Linux and works on any Linux operating system, and then you make a Fortnite for Windows that works on any Windows operating system, right? It's the same thing with EA. If you're going to make games for Windows and Linux, you need to make a game where it's for Linux and it works on any Linux operating system, and then you make another version for Windows, and that'll solve the entire problem, But this notion that you're trying to use anti-cheat as a scapegoat for not putting games on Linux is a bunch of nonsense. Okay, they're looking for an excuse. and they tried to, the Epic developer, they were talking about, well, there's cheaters on Linux. Well, there's cheaters on Windows, so how come you're not complaining? You know what I'm saying? So when they make games, when they make games for both Linux and Windows, they need to make one version that's Windows version only, and to make another version that's Linux for the Linux user base. That means it works on Ubuntu, Fedora, Debian, Puppy Linux, and the list goes on, because Linux got so many distros. So that's how you fix that problem, you know. But to blame Anticheat, to me, is an excuse, and they're just looking for an argument, you know, looking for a reason not to make the game for the Linux community, you know. So that's what EA needs to do, because all this making you're making an EA app now. You're trying to move from Origins to the EA app. You gotta ask yourself, was that necessary? Did you need to do that? You know, so to me, a lot of these developers, they bring a lot of problems onto themselves when the problem can be easily solved. When it comes to Linux and Windows, and since the Steam Deck can install both Windows and Linux, the developers, they need to make a game that make two versions of a game if they're going to make it. When it comes to PC gaming, one for Linux and one for Windows. The one for Windows work with Windows whatever, right? The other version works with Linux, whatever operating system you're using. Okay, whether it's Red Hat, Fedora, Debian, Linux Mint, Puppy Linux, Slackware. I could go down the list. You know, that's how they need to do it, and that's what needs to happen. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think. But anyway, I'm gonna leave both articles in the description box so y'all can look at it for yourself. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, still a Star Wars and Star Trek fan. Dark side.